eat them, Sam. I am. How you doing, boys and girls? Welcome back to the Hat and Beard Show. It is, of course, Tuesday, March 10th is the, what's going on, OBS? Okay, now we're back. This is the 6-month anniversary of the Charlie Kirk assassination. Isn't that wild? Nobody really thinks that happened just 6 months ago. Right, that's wild. But anyway, yesterday was the tampering period for the NFL free agency signing portion. Right, obviously, finally, guys, we have been manning the oars, all hands on deck, you scallywags. Well, we have been just grinding through the offseason of off-seasons, and now we're finally into some NFL action. Right, and there was a lot of money. Woo-wee, boys. Look at the Max Crosby deal. Freed up so much money for the Raiders that they just went absolutely bananas. Absolutely bananas. Banana, B-A-N-A-N-A-S, bananas. But you know what, dude? Go ahead. Maybe that works out for the Las Vegas Raiders of Oakland. Maybe Tommy's got him on the right track. I wouldn't have spent all that money. Shout out, which one of you said it there? I'm glad we're not paying, a ton of money to Linderbaum. You know what I'm saying? I'm so glad that we got our guy here in Detroit, guys. I was ecstatic by our big signing. I know it wasn't big, splashy, and flashy. There is still day two, and there's still a lot of names for us to talk about. We will discuss. We got a lot of news, guys. We got a lot of news outside of the big Mike Evans signing. There was a lot of other signings that went down. Rico Dowdle signed with the Steelers. They also traded for Michael Pittman Jr. Mike Evans obviously went to the Niners. Kenneth Walker, the Super Bowl MVP. Come on, man, joining the evil empire of all the teams, brother. You had to go and sign with the Chefs? Gross, dude. Gross. But we'll look a little bit more into the Michael Pittman trade and what's going on there. Why the Colts? What the hell? What did the Colts get in exchange for this? Indianapolis, there's a reason why you guys are a dumpster fire. The Dolphins appear to find Tua Tagovailoa's replacement as free agency opens. I thought this yesterday as we were reading the Tua story. I was like, you know what? The head coach and GM both have Green Bay ties. There's a Green Bay quarterback that's about to hit the free agent market. I think we can really read these incredibly dense and archaic language that is the NFL tea leaves. No, it was pretty simple to see that why do I want to say Will Levis? Why do I keep coming to Will Levis? Why do I keep Malik Willis? Why did I keep coming to Will Levis? Malik Willis, who was at one point projected to be taken number 2 overall by the Detroit Lions over in Aiden Hutchinson. I'm glad we didn't do that. He's signed in Miami. So going from the cold tundra, going from the Music City up to the cold tundra, really being put on ice up there for a few years, backing up Jordan Love, and then migrating all the way down to sunny Florida as Tua got cut. And then we're going to shift gears over to the 3-1-3. Guys, it's an unfortunate situation considering the career or the season that he had last year. But Roy Lopez did get to go dabble in free agency, and he is off back to Arizona. Back to sunny Arizona. Roy Lopez, big surprise there. An unfortunate situation, but we'll look into that. And then Cade Mays. We got to talk about our guy, the prince that was promised. Zora High on the thumbnail himself. You guys, that's right. We got our dude, Cade Mays. You guys know I was really hyped about Cade Mays. So we signed him, and we'll see what that deal includes and kind of what to expect from the Detroit Lions moving forward. Shout out Rick C over on YouTube in the chat. Has the exact lineup that I was thinking earlier today for the Lions front 5. It should be rock solid. And then as we end the show, we will kind of take a little looky-loo at who's still available. Best remaining 2026 Day 2 free agents for the Detroit Lions. Y'all, quit shitting in your pants. None of the defensive ends that we needed were really signed, okay? Trey's still out there, all right? Just pump the brakes, okay? There are still plenty of moves to be made by Brad Holmes, okay? It is day 1. You don't win the Super Bowl on day 1 of the tampering period, though I do like the moves that have been made, guys. We will discuss all of that and more. We'll be taking your Rumble rants. We will be taking your YouTube chats. Kick, sorry, you're kind of the bastard stepchild way over there on the third back end, still trying to figure you guys out. But we will get there. We will get there. Shout out to across all 3 platforms, all 3 of you guys, YouTube, Rumble, and Kick. If you guys could subscribe to the channel across all 3 platforms, ring your notification bell so you can be notified every single time we go live Monday through Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here at all 3. Insert whatever your preferred streaming platform is, .com/The Hat and Beard Show. Smash the like button and share this video around with every single person that you know. It's the #1 way to help us grow. We are just stacking subscribers, one on top of another. We passed the 850 mark just last week. Guys, we got our sights set at 900. Can we hit 900 on YouTube before the draft? Can we get to 50 subscribers over on Rumble? That would be awesome. It's up to you. I can only do so much. I'm the man inside the screen. You guys are doing all the heavy lifting with your Atlas shoulders and Adonis-like quads. Let's go, you guys. I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and kick it on over to my guy, Jocko. We're going to get into the show.
If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well, then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
Right on. Appreciate all you guys over in Mad Hatter Nation hanging out at youtube.com. The chat's popping off, you guys. But you know what? If you're feeling froggy and you want to kick it on over to the old Rumble, we're over on Rumble as well. Still trying to figure out how to integrate the chat onto my screen. So if you see me looking off, it's because I'm trying to second screen over here the live chat. Shout out my guy Refty, dude. Refty over there. Why can't I get the chat to stay up when I go big screen? I don't like this. I'm such a Luddite, you guys. I am such an absolute Luddite, but you know what? We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll figure it out. I'm just going to be doing the old boomer. The print is so small. It is such a tiny print, and my eyes are sort of very old. I need to be wearing reading glasses instead of Hunter S. Thompson yellow glasses. Not sure how I turned to if. You know what, Rick? That's the Clankers thinking they know more than you. You got to push back against the Clankers. Shout out Brent Lighton. He's trying to get up to 1.21 gigawatts, dude. And I think you got to get up to 68 miles an hour for that flux capacitor to go ahead and kick in so that you can go back and meddle with your future. Try not to bang your mom. Free agency updates. Steelers to sign running back Rico Dowdle. Trade for Michael Pittman Jr. Mike Evans to the Niners and reportedly agree on a deal. Kenneth Walker to join the evil empire. Do it. I bet Mr. Figs is very happy getting a running back now that can shoulder the load. Hopefully he doesn't go the route of Isaiah Pacheco and break his fucking leg. Let's go. I like Kenneth Walker, you guys. Obviously, the free agency kicked off on Thursday. Those deals can officially be signed on Wednesday at 4 p.m., which marks the official start of the new league year. In addition to those deals, trades that were agreed to prior to the official start of free agency can also become official. This coming to us from Yahoo Sports, you guys. Just a rundown. Travis Kelce's going to be returning to the Chiefs. The Dolphins cut Tua. Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, is reportedly in agreement on a deal to join Kansas City, pairing up with the dildo that is Travis Kelce. And, look, I'm going to be honest, guys. One of the things that I am going to be watching for in the next upcoming season of the NFL, will Caleb Williams continue his ascension as the golden selected boy by the NFL, or will the return of a previous golden child, the prodigal son with a broken knee, return to claim his rightful place in the hearts and minds of the NFL officiating crews? I want to see, does Patrick Mahomes continue to get unfortunately, what I like to call the fluff treatment, or does he usurp that title, steal it back, take it back, if it were? Does he take it back with his platinum hair and his oh god, what's the not Valerian? Oh man, why am I all on Game of Thrones? I am like, you know what it is? I watched a Nerdrotic video yesterday about Night of the Seven Kingdoms. That's why Game of Thrones. That's where it all came from. Damn you, Gary! Damn you, Gary! Oh, Gary. Obviously, the Raiders going to be trading away Big Mad Max Crosby to the Baltimore Ravens, where he is going to haul in 2 first-round picks. You know, good on Baltimore. Good on Baltimore. You know what, dude? If there wasn't anybody that they were like really chubbed up over on getting in the draft, they said, hey, you know what? We can package this deal. We can go get our hands on a Max Crosby, a proven asset, and the Raiders go, yeah, great, sure, okay. Twist my arm harder, please, right? All right, so what popped off? The Packers are releasing Nate Hobbs. Good. The Panthers re-sign LeBrian Ray. Oh, shit, this is breaking. This is just now. This is 3 minutes ago. That's right, we got it on the live. That's right, hell yeah. All right, let's go. We got news stuff. Greg Newsome is reportedly agrees on a 1-year deal with the Giants. Okay, look at you go. Look at Greg Newsome go. Tyler Bass, who gives a shit about a kicker, who gives a shit about a punter. Packers pick up cornerback Benjamin St. Juste. They're going to be wheezing the juiced up there in Green Bay. The Patriots adding former O-line Elijah Vera Tucker. Now, I kind of wanted us to go after a guy like Elijah Vera Tucker. The Lions went the Larry Borum route, and this is why. They got Elijah Vera Tucker on a 3-year, $42 million deal, up to about $48 million. We don't need to go to X. Appreciate you on the clickety-click, Adam Schefter. I already follow you on X. Make sure to follow me on X if you guys aren't already. But, you know, honestly, for the talent that you have with a guy like an Elijah Vera Tucker, a 3-year, $48 million deal, it's a pretty solid steal for a guy. Now, yes, he is coming back off injury. I would have offered him a 1-year prove-it deal, but, you know, at the Patriots, doing that thing that we've seen here in Detroit, where it's like, hey, I'm going to go in, I'm going to poach away a little bit higher value talent from my interdivisional opponents. And the Jets, just, you know what, dude? I don't think you let a guy like Elijah Vera Tucker go. I think the Jets, and this is what I was worried about when Aaron Glenn went to the Jets, dude. I have nothing against Aaron Glenn. I think he is a good leader, a good motivator. But going to the New York Jets was the worst possible franchise that you could have gone to, short of the Brown Eyes, dude. The Jets don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't even let their feet get healed before they just start shooting them. At a certain point, the NFL needs to Lieutenant Dan the New York Jets so that they stop shooting themselves in the feet, dude. Send them down to the UFL. Panthers have signed former All-Pro Devin Lloyd. Yeah. Wow. Okay, Carolina. I like that move, dude. I like that move. No one gives a shit about Tyquan Thornton. Sam Williams back at the Cowboys. No one likes the Cowboys. Alohi Gillum was kind of one guy we were looking to maybe come to Detroit to help solidify and bring a little bit of stabilization to the back end of the safety room with the Detroit Lions kind of have a big question mark around Kirby Joseph, around Brian Branch. You know, Thomas Harper is still in-house, but what are you going to do, you know? But Alohi Gillum going to go ahead and sign also with the Evil Empire. Cole Strange is going to follow Mike McDaniel to the Chargers. Good on Cole Strange. Cooper DeJean, it's the very rarely do you have, and look, I'm not saying no thing or nothing. I'm just saying very rarely do you have white DBs in the NFL. And it's even more rare that you have two of like the 3 in the NFL on the same team. But Reed Blankenship signing a 3-year, $24.75 million deal to go to the Houston Texans. Good. Houston. I know it's not going to take very much to win the AFC South. But are the Houston Texans trying to make moves to win a Super Bowl? Are the Houston Texans trying to get a little bit aggressive here and maybe bring in some parts and pieces to solidify what was already a top-tier defense? Because we all know defense wins championships. And what do you pair with a championship caliber defense? Well, a bruising running back What did they do? Well, they said, here, go ahead, take a 4th-round pick, take a 7th-round pick. Gimme! David Montgomery. You pair David Montgomery with that all-world caliber defense. Will Anderson Jr. is a dominating force. They have a stingent secondary and a linebacking core that is very underrated over in Houston. Okay, C.J. Stroud now, other than the offensive line being a little bit porous, you can address that in this draft class. Okay. You then take a tremendous amount of workload off of C.J. Stroud's shoulders by having a Woody Mack that is, by all projections, going to be playing the Jahmyr Gibbs role to David Montgomery. David Montgomery is going to go 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns for the Houston Texans, while the Houston Texans go 10 wins or more easily as they just steamroll the AFC South. Because as much as I am excited about Cam Ward and Robert Saleh in Tennessee, they're a year out still from being actual contenders. Now, Tennessee Titans could just surprise me. Look, as I am a Titans fan, I am very open about that. I was a big Javon Curse, Eddie George, Steve Aaron McNair, Derek Mason, Kevin Dyson, Frank Wycheck, Bruce Matthews. I was a big fan of those guys, clearly. Keith Bullock. The list goes on and on. Tennessee is still a year removed, but they could be a 8, 9, potentially 10-win team. But I do think Houston has made enough moves already before the draft, through trading, through player acquisition of Reed Blankenship, with the talent that is already in-house and the talent that is projected available to them in the draft. Houston should very easily take care of the AFC South. Why do I say that with such confidence? Because the parts that have been plucked away from Jacksonville are very crucial parts. Devin Lloyd, an all-pro defensive linebacker, right? By all accounts, Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be traded if he hasn't already been traded already. Forgive me if I'm not completely up to date on the comings and goings of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Duval! That's what I think about Duval. All right, I'm going to be honest, right? Travis Etienne got signed to the Saints, dude. So, for the first time in 8 years, Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne will not be paired together. So I think Jacksonville is slowly coming undone a little bit. Also, Liam Cohen is going to have a even better year than he had this year to continue his ascension. Is that possible? It is possible, though. I think that when you look at the history of the NFL, it happens more times than not. The coach falls off, right? Look at Brian Daboll, Mike McDaniel. You know what I'm saying? These guys. Chicago is retaining Braxton Jones. Nobody cares about Chicago. Also, they did sign Case Keenum. I didn't know Case Keenum was still in the NFL, so there you go, Chicago. A good indicator. You have top-tier talent retiring, requesting trades, and being traded. And then you got to go and sign a guy like Case Keenum. Boy, things are really looking up. Really looking up for Chicago. I'm telling you guys right now, that small PP Benedict Arnold, Osama Ben Johnson, dude, he is the traitor in the Windy City, and players know it, dude. Players know it. Quincy Williams is a brown eye. Tyler Linderbaum, whoo! $20 million signing bonus, $10 million salary in 26, $30 million salary in 2027, all fully guaranteed. His 2028 salary of $21 million is injury guaranteed and converts to fully guaranteed third day of 2027 league year. So $60 million fully guaranteed at signing. Wow. And y'all thought the Lions were going to sign Tyler Linderbaum. Come on now. Kyle Allen signed with the Bills, so we no longer have a backup QB here in Detroit. Also, Amik Robertson signed with the Commies, and Alex Anelzone went to his home state of Florida to go and play with the Tampa, Bay, Buccaneers. We're not going to get too much into the details about the comings and goings of signings. We are just going to keep this window open, as you've seen just this morning. Things had shifted. The Nate Hobbs has been released. That might be all right. So a year ago, the Packers inked Hobbs to a 4-year, $48 million contract after he played with the Vegas. The Illinois product began as Packerson as a starter before losing the job and watching his snap count decline significantly. He was targeted 25 times during the 25 campaign and gave up 17 grabs for almost 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, according to PFF. So just going to throw this out here. Do not be surprised if Brad Holmes signs Nate Hobbs. for a dirt cheap deal. It's that divisional rejects on a cheap contract move that he loves to make. The Steelers, shout out the Steelers making moves. Not only did they sign Rico Dowdle, who had a relatively monstrous year on a 1-year prove-it deal in Carolina. Carolina couldn't come to terms with him, so he ended up signing a pretty substantial contract in Pittsburgh. They also did the same thing they did last year. Last year they went out and they traded for DK Metcalf. This year they went out and they traded for Michael Pittman Jr. and then inked him to a 3-year, $59 million deal. The question with Pittsburgh now, okay, yeah, good. You got a running back. You got 2 top, by all accounts, top flight talented wide receivers. Who's throwing them the ball? Aaron do Rodgers is still not under contract. And by all accounts, at least according to his own reporting on the Pat McAfee show, Pittsburgh hasn't even offered him a deal yet. So who is throwing him the ball? Does Pittsburgh take the quarterback out of Alabama? Is that what they end up doing? Because you got, Michael Pittman here. He ain't bad. DK Metcalf, for as much of a douche nozzle as he is, he ain't a bad wide receiver, right? The team, last March, they acquired DK Metcalf from the Steelers in exchange for a second-round pick and then signed him to a lucrative 5-year, $150 million contract. He finished his first season with the Steelers with 850 yards. They are going to lose Calvin Austin, right? So they ended up trading for Michael Pittman, right? Aaron Rodgers is a pending free agent, blah, blah, blah. Adam Thielen was released, blah, blah, blah. Alec Pierce was re-signed in... That makes sense then. Okay, so with the Alec Pierce re-signing in Indy for $116 million, they had to free up a little bit of dollar dues. Bad investments all around in Indy, right? They're still trying to figure out what to do with AR-15. He's clearly a bust. How do you unload that? Pittman spent each of his 6 seasons in the league with the Colts since being selected in the second round of the 2020 draft, coming out of USC. He rounds out the wide receiver room in Pittsburgh, which desperately needed depth behind DK Metcalf. Yeah, so a couple big body guys. Who's going to work the middle, though? Who's going to work? Are they going to go get that Wan'Dale Robinson cat? Is that what the plan is? Or are they going to draft a guy? What's going on in Pittsburgh? No, Refty. I believe your response. What you mean to say is us whites are making a cornerback. Oh, I'm so damn. Guys. Hey. Hold your applause. Just throw money, okay? Just throw money. I don't need applause. You can subscribe to the channel or throw money. The Dolphins have re-signed Malik Willis. That's good on him. Like, okay, we're not gonna spend too much time on here. I did want to point this out because I had this thought yesterday while we were reading the article. I didn't verbalize it, but I was like, the Dolphins are probably, as we were reading the Tua article, I was like, they're probably going to sign Malik Willis, right? Now, Malik Willis does have a very interesting, turn in his career. I don't have any ill will towards Malik Willis. I might be perceived as a Malik Willis hater simply because I was very anti-Malik Willis at 2. I knew that we had to draft Aiden Hutchinson, and I'm not even a Michigan fan, dude. I'm not even a Michigan fan. Aiden Hutchinson is now one of my favorite players ever to play for Detroit. But I just couldn't have the Lions taking him at number 2. So by being anti-Lions at 2, you kind of get funneled into that Malik Willis hater route, right? And then it was a little bit of schadenfreude, right, to watch him not have the most frivolous career, right, being a third-round pick and then kind of bouncing around. But look at him go, parlaying his journeymanship into a substantial contract in Miami. And, by all accounts, he's your starter right now until things change. Malik Willis ends up signing a 3-year, $67.5 million contract in Miami. The former Liberty Flames standout will now have a great chance to become a full-time starter in the NFL 4 years after the Tennessee Titans selected him in the 3rd round of the draft. So good on him, but it kind of all made sense with the brass and the coaching staff in Miami to go and get a guy like Malik Willis. What's up, Tyrone Wan'Dale at the Titans? Gotcha. Is that official or is that about to happen? Shout out Tyrone C46. Appreciate the news. What's up, John? How you doing, bro? Unless Brad talking to and hanging with Gary V and teaching him garage sales technique, Brad will have a C overall grade with the starting day roster. John, this is the thing, man. I don't think our roster needed as much of an overhaul as people are seemingly thinking, right? Okay. So the offensive line was perceived bad because we gave up 6 more sacks than we did last year and 13 more pressures than we did the year prior. Taylor Decker was not at the par he was the 2 years prior, right? There was a massive drop-off between Frank Ragnow and Graham Glasgow. I had artificially inflated the talent level of Graham Glasgow because of how he played between Taylor Decker and Frank Ragnow the year prior, right? There was a drop-off there. There was also a significant drop-off in the offensive coordinating department. Johnny Moe screens. Oh, my God, don't throw the screen, Johnny Moe. No more screens, Johnny Moe. John Morton did not know what the fuck he was doing. All right. Our defense, again, I hate to say the injuries thing, but when you remove the turnover leader since entering the league in Kirby Joseph from your starting lineup and you rupture the Achilles of your second-round draft pick and by all accounts a top 10 safety in the league in Brian Branch, okay, you then lose your first-round pick in Terrion Arnold regardless of how many times he put his dirty little dick beaters on players. He was still a better player than a Rock Ya-Sin by all metrics. DJ Reed was hurt for a stint there. When you lose the turnovers that Kirby Joseph created, your offensive production will appear to be less than it was prior, simply because you don't have as many possessions nor as short of a field to pile the points on, right? When your defense is stretched and your already man island cover corners are left out on even more of an island without the Coast Guard of Kirby Joseph lurking in the background, it's going to appear to be worse. Yes, I will say we do need, or at least did need to address the center position, and by all metrics, I think we absolutely crushed it. I think people are very, very much underrating the Cade Mays signing. I think he actually is the best of the free agent class to be signed when you look at age, value of contract, and talent level. Obviously, everyone's all hyping hard and over Tyler Linderbaum. That's great. He's an excellent player. Are you willing to commit $60 million at signing to him? Hell no. Cade Mays, by all metrics, by all accounts, took less money to come to Detroit. He was offered more money to go to Chicago, and he said, get fucked. I'm going to Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Like it is not only is it a locker room, a talent, and a dollar value versus the age of the player, it is a massive signing. Yes, everyone, Larry Borum ain't nothing. Larry Borum isn't signed to be your starting tackle. Maybe week 1, week 2, maybe in lieu of an injury. Larry Borum has been signed to develop Miles Frazier into your starting right tackle. Honestly, guys, don't be surprised if we do not go tackle rounds 1 through 4. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if Brad Holmes ends up taking a defensive end, a linebacker, and a corner in some variation of that rounds 1 through 3. Don't be surprised. And I know we don't have a third-round pick. We can trade back up into the third round. Oh, wait, no, we got a compensatory pick. Or did we get a compensatory fifth-round pick? Regardless, we now have ammunition to try and climb back up in the third round. I'm telling you right now, I do think Miles Frazier is a lot better of a player than we're giving him credit for, right? And I think Larry Borum was signed to be the developmental player coach in-house on the field, similar to a Skip, similar to a Ragnow, similar to what a Decker should have been for a Miles Frazier. I think what we're ultimately going to see is Sewell move from the right to the left. Frazier's going to come in and play the right side. And he's going to play well, especially with the developmental piece of a developmental coaching piece in Larry Borum being signed. I think we're grossly underrating the subtle signings that we've made. There's also plenty of talent still out there to be signed. It was day 1. Brad Holmes has never been a big splash signing guy. What is the biggest, splashiest move Brad Holmes has ever made? Year 1, day 1, trading Matt Stafford for 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, I believe, and Jared Goff. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the biggest splashy thing he did, and he's never made a big splash ever since then. Outside of that, what's the biggest, splashiest moves? Players we've drafted: Aiden Hutchinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams. Now, by all metrics, the biggest acquisition Brad Holmes has ever done was drafting Penei Sewell. But that's just me. Johnny Moe killed Sonic and Knuckles. 100% Buster. 100%. What's up, Kane? How you doing, brother? These oil ship captains in Iran are saying, not my boat, not my problem, so I'm broke AF. So I can't support the grift, but we'll grift on your behalf. I appreciate it, dude. Hey, man, don't worry, dude. Actually, if you're paying attention to the oil markets, barrels have gone down since Trump announced that there's probably going to be a relatively short end to it here. Just yesterday or early yesterday morning, he said it. Either way, the markets have responded already. And I've seen reports that oil tankers are going so far as they're just shutting off their transmitters, running through the Strait of Hormuz, and then flipping their transmitters back on once they get back out. Trading up for Gibbs is pretty splashy. Trading down for Gibbs is pretty splashy. Buster, remember, we traded down. We traded out. Remember that? We traded out. We traded back. We acquired more picks. I had a low 2 grade on Mahogany, high 3rd on Ratledge, and low 3rd on Frazier. All 3 had starting grades. See, Brent, that's what I'm talking about, dude. I think people not understanding what's happening. They want to rebuild the O-line for first string or second string. Yeah, Tyrone, dude. And that's the thing, man. Like, I don't want to sound like Amon-Ra, okay, when he's just like, a lot of people don't know ball. But it's the same idea as like political hobbyists. Okay, sports hobbyists, political hobbyists, people who do it as a hobby. They look at the top surface level, big name equals winning. The Lions have to spend money. They're the same people going, the Lions have to sign L'Jarius Sneed. They have to go spend money and break and reset the market on L'Jarius Sneed. That's those people, right? And then there's people that are like, hang on. Not to sound cliche, the season is a marathon, not a sprint. You have to look at everything, the 10,000-foot view, the futures moving forward, the 4D chess being played. Yes, we all like big splashy plays, and I'm sure all of us wanted Trey Hendrickson to be signed in Detroit on a 3-year, $57 million deal. Day one, 12:01 p.m. yesterday, breaking news, Lions agree to terms of Trey Hendrickson. 1, that's not Brad Holmes. 2, the players that we want to go get aren't in this knee-jerk reaction, sign, get my bag now type situation. If they were, Cade Mays would have gone to Chicago. But they're not, and those aren't the players that Brad Holmes goes after. Yep, traded down, got a second rounder, and drafted Sam Laporta. Exactly, Rick. You're good, Buster. No worries, brother. No worries, brother. It was a splashy. Oh, that's why I say the splashiest thing we did outside of trading away Matt. Hang on, I got to fart real quick. All right. The splashiest thing we did outside of trading away Matt Stafford was trading way up for JMO, which again was the most Brad Holmes thing we've ever done. He went after an injured player. You know what I'm saying? It just happened to work out because we had a tremendous amount of patience with JMO. You know what I'm saying? Hell no, I don't want Manu out there. No, well, actually, you know what, Tyrone? Let me rephrase that. I do want Manu. I want Manu to be our third tight end. I want Manu to play the Dan Skipper tight end role. And I want Ahmed Hassanin to transition from defensive end to fullback. That's what I really want. Rick, we threw in a third round as well. Got that Baltra second high round for Sammy, but gotcha. Brad usually gets plenty of players from the second, third rounds of free agents. Yeah, and that's the thing, dude. That's the thing. Dude, that's what I'm saying. Manu is the blocking tight end, dude. Wouldn't that be fucking sick, bro? Wouldn't that be absolutely sick? That'd be absolutely awesome. All right, so let's kick on over to the Detroit Lions. Roy Lopez, I thought it was one of those subtly sneaky signings. Hey, shout out. Shout out. Who was it just said that? Brent Lighton. Brad usually gets good players in days 2 and 3. Roy Lopez, Amik Robertson. There's not these big names. Rock Yassin. There's these guys, these foundationary building blocks. These good, not great. These not bad, not great players. You know what I'm saying? These above just a jag. You know what I'm saying? I know we're going to trade for a third, but will we trade back or trade picks to get it? And do we trade up from 17 to 12 if Styles or impact player falls on defense? John, that's a very good question. And I do have to, of course, caveat this. Last year, by all accounts, the Brad Holmes was trying everything he could to trade up in the draft and get Shamar Stewart, by all metrics. Okay, so we can talk all about trading. You know, do we pull the trigger and go after a guy, Mansour Delane, Sonny Styles, Spencer Fano fall out of the top 10? Do you load up and trade and go after it? Yeah, go after Sonny Styles. The problem is, it takes two to tango, dude. Otherwise, it's just navel gazing and mental masturbation. You know what I'm saying? Like it takes two teams. So unless another team's willing to dance, you're just jerking off in the corner, dude. You know what I'm saying? And it costs to move up. We have some capital, but not a lot of capital. I don't think we have enough capital to get into the top 10 until you start gambling away future picks. And I mean next year's picks, you know, which... are you willing to gamble the house for Sonny Styles, for Mansour Delane, for David Bailey? You know what I'm saying? Or are you willing to sit pat at 17, see who falls, end up having too many guys to pick from, and then go, hey, you know what? Pittsburgh's calling. We're going to trade with Pittsburgh and get back into the third round. You know, like we did yesterday, right? Wasn't Lopez's deal worth the Lions signing him? I thought Lopez's deal was solid for the production we got out of him. Brent, I do think you are right that Sonny Styles is a top 7 pick talent-wise. I don't know, man, if there is enough of an argument for teams in the top 7 that need that position. You know what I'm saying? Where there are Fano, Mayauga, Bailey, Delaney, Love, Lemon, a lot of different players that could have arguments for more of a need for that team. You know, as much as I like, as much as I like the idea of Sonny Styles being a top 10, and I do think he is a top 10 player, there is, I think, a good argument that because he is a hybrid tweener player, you'll kind of see a slide out of. And a team like Detroit, who is looking to transition and hybridize out of the base defense and can use a skill set like that, might put a higher grade and more of a value on that player and going, yeah, that's exactly who we want, you know? Whereas like the Saints are going, oh, fuck, no, we need a defensive end. We need a wide receiver. We need a corner. You know what I'm saying? We need all these players over a Sonny Styles. And I just use the Saints as an example because they were the first team that came to mind, you know? I'm glad you like that line, dude. Mental masturbation. That's what it is, dude. I didn't come up with that, dude. The first person I heard say that was Michael Knowles. So shout out Michael Knowles, dude. No one worth trading up for this draft. No one. Fair enough. Fano is not going top 10. Brent, I hope not. I hope not. Because I like Spencer Fano. You know what I mean? Let me say 4 or 5 years ago from Clemson, only better. John, are you talking about... Oh, fuck. I want to say his name was like Isaiah or something like that. Isaiah Simmons? Are you talking about Isaiah Simmons? Honestly, and I hate using this guy again as an example because I use him in comparison to Jack Campbell in the professional setting. But if you want to look at a player that has that same positional transition from the bigs or from college to the pros, now Styles did it in college early on, you know, or later on in his collegiate career. But Brian Urlacher was a defensive back in college that transitioned to linebacker and had by all accounts, a pretty good career. Lopez doubled last year's contract to go home to Arizona. It was worth it. Yeah, exactly, dude. It was a business thing. It was a business move by Roy Lopez, dude. Simmons. Yep, Isaiah Simmons. That's who it was. Isaiah Simmons. Yep. Isaiah Simmons is a special teams player now. Yeah, I know, and that's the thing. And that's the big gamble. And that's the big gamble on a guy like a Sonny Styles, you know. Just like Isaiah Simmons, athletic freak, testing off the charts. Special teams player. You know what I mean? And realistically, if you guys actually look at what the 40 is there for, everyone gets all bonered up over the 40-yard dash, right? The 40-yard dash is almost exclusively there for players to increase their value to be on special teams. Yeah, and Isaiah Simmons was dominant in college, a dominant physical freak. But once he got to the bigs, once you go, okay, high school to college, you're 1%, right? College to pros, you're 0.1%. So you are everybody. Everybody is almost on the same physical level. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. He was more of a mercenary in college. Exactly, dude. Exactly. Teams didn't know how to use him, and that could be, dude. John, you could be on something. Teams didn't know how to maximize his potential. They just didn't know what to do with it. They didn't have either. He was put in situations where the teams didn't have the time to cultivate that skill set, or he just was paired up with coaching staffs that were just, not to be an asshole, but were just fucking retarded. You know what I'm saying? Like, just fucking retarded. So smash the like button if you agree. Subscribe to the channel. Shout out Roy Lopez. I did like him. I liked him in the Motor City, dude. But yeah, business decision. And let's be honest, no Roy Lopez, no DJ Reader so far. Paves the way for my guy Tyleek the Freak to have a monster sophomore season, guys. So the other big move, the biggest move by the Detroit Lions, was us getting our guy, the guy that I've been pounding my fist. I've been pounding the table, dude. What's up, Beantown? What's good, brother? Shout out with the super chat over on YouTube, dude. Morning, big homie. What's good, brother? Hopefully you're having a good day out there, dude. You guys went and signed Elijah Vera Tucker. Nice little solid foundationary build. Puts a nice little human wall in front of your boy Drake May. Maybe that shoulder won't be hurting while you guys make your Super Bowl run next year. Unfortunately, dude. Beantown. And look, I'm sorry, man. I don't mean to be talking shit, dude. But if the Patriots make it to the Super Bowl next year, you guys are going to run into a buzzsaw coming hot and heavy right out of the 3-1-3, and you're going to lose again. So I'm sorry. I don't take it personal. It's just that's what's going to happen, dude. It's a 3-1-3 on our way to a 59-0 Super Bowl trouncing. Let's go. Detroit Lions, Jared Goff, JG16. Not only does he throw for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns next year, en route to the Lions going 18-0 and a historic playoff run shutting out every opponent, but then Jared Goff turns around and wins Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl 61 MVP. Let's go, baby. We need to build D-line now. Preach, Tyrone. Preach. Cade Mays needs to work out with Penne. Get that run block. He does. But here's the thing. Cade Mays isn't the best run blocker. He's good, not great. And like you say, get in the gym with Penne. Get strong. Get that Samoan strong, dude. Cade Mays is a hell of a pass blocker, though. And he's super duper smart, dude. He's really, really cerebral, dude. I think we crushed it on this signing. Last week, more centers such as Drew Dahlman, Ryan Kelly retired. The scarcity at the position really highlighted how demand for far outweighs supply at center this offseason, both in the current free agent class and the upcoming NFL draft. As I wrote in the free agent bargain bin offensive line article, I didn't expect the Lions to be big on the market for the highly priced Tyler Linderbaum or Connor McGovern, but that Cade Mays or veteran Ethan Pocic might make the most sense for them. Then the Chargers signed Tyler Biadasz, and it was announced that the Bills had re-signed Connor McGovern, and the position continued to thin out. I actually kind of thought Tyler Biadasz would have been a sneaky little signing. So it was much to my pleasure when it was reported that the Lions had signed Cade Mays to a 3-year, $25 million deal with $14 million in guaranteed, meaning Mays will likely be the Lions starting center for at least the next 2 seasons. Here's how Mays will impact the 2025 Lions, how his signing shapes the rest of the team's offensive strategy, and this writer's grade for the move. Who's Cade Mays? We've already talked about that. We are not going to continue to regurgitate that. Head coach Dave C. Analis says of Mays, just an eagerness to be able to help in any way possible, and just a willingness to apply himself and to go get after it. So I just kind of saw that look in his eyes, the gratitude. Here we go, get another chance to get back and help. Pro Bowl guard Robert Hunt added, quote, he's a hell of a football player. He's a smart cat, dude. Mays played well in his first season at the starting position, starting 8 of the final 9 games. However, wasn't guaranteed the job entering 2025 and lost a close training camp battle to Detroit native Austin Corbett, who had been the team's opening day center at the position from 2022 to 2024. Corbett eventually got hurt, as he had in the previous 2 seasons, and Mays once again stepped in. Just like previous years, he took over and started 13 of the final 16 games at the point man for the offense. How good is Cade Mays? It's worth noting that the Panthers were a much better team over the past 2 seasons in games started by Mays. They went 9-11. Then in games he did not start, they went 4-10. He was also the starting center when Bryce Young returned to the lineup after being benched earlier on in the year, when Young's career appeared to be on life support. From that point forward, Young began playing more comfortable and confident football, reviving both his career trajectory and the Panthers' belief in him. Mays was also a big factor in Rico Dowdle's finding success in the run game this season. We talked about Rico Dowdle making getting his bag in Pittsburgh, making the most of his time in Carolina, making the most of his opportunities. Well, Cade Mays was a contributing factor to those opportunities. The Panthers still had Mays to compete with Corbett, blah, 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 blah. Offensive line analyst Brandon Thorne ranked Mays as the 12th best free agent offensive lineman and highlighted his aggressive, brawling style. Thorne also called the 2025 Mays best season and noted that he ideally needs the right environment to succeed, something the Lions offense should provide. National outlets also viewed Mays favorably. He ranked as the Athletic Daniel Popper's 36th overall free agent, the third center. Matt Bowen from ESPN's 39th overall free agent, third center. NFL's Greg Rosenthal's 41st free agent, third center. He was consistently viewed as the best free agent option after Tyler Linderbaum and Connor McGovern. He's 6'4", 311 pounds. He's very similar size to All-Pro center Frank Ragnow, who is 6'5", 312. Like Ragnow, he helps lock down the interior of the pocket like a bank vault while bringing a mauling demeanor to the spear of the offense. Though he lacks some of Ragnow's movement skills, particularly in zone blocking and getting to the second level, what will be especially fun to watch are the double teams between Mays and newly solidified right guard Tater Ratledge, a pairing that should generate plenty of movement at the point of attack. Mays finished as Pro Football Focus' 14th highest grade center in 2024 with a minimum of 400 snaps with a 66.1 run blocking grade, and then ranked 22nd last season with a 62.4 blocking grade. However, he graded as PFF's 11th best pass blocking center with a 69.4 overall grade. Over the last 2 seasons, among 36 qualifying centers, Mays tied for 13th with just 3% pressure rate allowed as a pass blocker. Mays still has some deficiencies in the run game, but he can at least handle heavy nose tackles at the point of attack. He also showed significant improvement as a pass blocker this past season by playing more square and controlled. He should continue to improve with more experience at the position. At minimum, the Lions are getting a competent, above-average center who can pack a punch and help reset the line of scrimmage, something that the offense sorely missed last season. How will this affect the Lions? This move is a pivotal box to check in the Lions offense, and more importantly, in their quest to dominate the trenches again. They now have at least 3 long-term starters penciled in for the next 2 to 3 seasons in Mays, Ratledge, and Penei Sewell, all 3 of whom are physically imposing players who bring a bully mentality. Short-term, Detroit may also have another starting guard on the roster in either Christian Mahogany or Miles Frazier, along with a capable swing tackle in Larry Borum, who can start a tackle in a pinch, and a capable backup center in Juice Scruggs, who can also fill in at guard if needed. The Lions could be content entering the 26th season with one of Mahogany or Frazier at the starting guard, although it's difficult to rule out them pursuing a more immediate upgrade in free agency, or if the early portion of the draft board falls that way. Drafting the future booked opposite Penei Sewell, whether left or right tackle, now becomes the top priority of the offseason. The center position can effectively be ruled out of the 2026 NFL draft unless a player they truly love unexpectedly falls. Signing Mays allows Detroit to focus on the future pillar at tackle and potentially upgrading at guard. Was he worth the price? Yes, dude. He signed a $25 million deal. Final thoughts on the grade? B+. There are some minor concerns. Mays missed a few games due to an ankle injury last season and dealt with some ankle and knee issues in college. However, he has largely been durable at the NFL level, so the injuries are not a major concern. The bigger question is experience, as Mays has only started 21 games at center, but that can also be viewed positively. He's a player still gaining comfort at the position and continuing to improve. The Lions want to rediscover their identity. Adding Lil Spud Drew Petzing should help in that regard, but the signing of Mays should also help them reset the tone up front. I'm going to sneeze. Getting back to the punishing opponents' souls and grinding their bones into dust by the fourth quarter with a dominant run game. Mays should also help Tate Ratledge, and Ratledge should help Mays. One hand washes the other, a symbiont circle. The two can grow together and make each other better. Finally, Mays will be critical in helping Jared Goff and the offensive line handle pre-snap communication and protection calls while restoring integrity. A little integrity to the interior passing pocket, an area where missed assignments, quick sacks, and interior leakage, well, you're going to need some depends on that, caused problems at times last season. There's a real chance that in 10 months we look at Cade Mays' contract and realize he's one of the most underpaid centers in all of football. Shout out Brad Holmes. Again, that's what, dude, look, I know we talk shit, but he's good at getting these guys at their undervalue of the position before the market breaks, dude. How we doing? Mad Hatter? Is that a Mr. Detroit City sighting? What's up, Mr. Detroit City? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Bryant happy with the hemorrhaging talent and not replacing it. The Pats better wake the fuck up. Yeah, dude. I don't know what's going on in New England, brother, but is it Mike Vrabel, dude? Are we seeing Vrabel and small PP Benedict Arnold, Osama Ben Johnson having the same effect on the players, dude? Do you think we get our backup QB? I think we get a backup. You know what, dude? You know what, Tyrone? Don't be surprised if we end up going after like Garrett Nussmeier in the 4th round, dude. Can Duggar play the branch role? Jack, I don't know, man. You mean Kyle Duggar? My understanding of Kyle Duggar, yes. Physically, they kind of appear to be the same style of player. Possible, but I'm gonna be very honest with you, dude. I don't know enough about Kyle Duggar. Tyler Biadasz played for Harbaugh at Michigan, so the Chargers. Gotcha, Brent. That makes the most sense. Our backup QB is likely at the back end of the draft. Otherwise, it's Richardson or Levis. Hey, man, I wouldn't be mad if we went after the Mayo Man, dude. You know what? I wouldn't be mad if the Mayo Man was our backup. I'm actually in my Madden 24, whatever. I got 2 years ago's iteration of Madden on my PS4. I'm currently, like, on Friday nights after a long week of work, I like to play a little franchise. I'm in like my 6th year, and I'm currently making Will Levis a league MVP for the Lions. Richardson requires a trade. He will unlikely be cut. Richardson's going to go to Minnesota, dude. Options are pretty limited backup. We're pretty much limited in those options, especially with no cap space. Ben Johnson's such a tool. Even Chicago's kicking the Bears out. Dude, right, Trippy, dude? The Indiana Bears. You mean the Indiana Bears. Well, guys, as we get to the back end of the show, let's quickly kind of skim through any names that could be popping up for the Lions to sign. Actually, let's go over here to Yahoo real quick and see if any new news has broken on the free agent market. Get down here. Dane Belton reportedly signing a 1-year, $4 million deal with the Jets. And then still just the Hobbs. All right, so not a lot of no big dick wiggling news quite yet, you guys. How we doing, Rumble? Still kicking with me, Rumble? That's what's up, Rumble. I appreciate you, Rumble. Damn. Hey, guys, over there on YouTube, make sure to smash the like button and share this video around. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, guys. And share it around with everyone you know. It's the #1 way to help this channel grow. We are coming up on 900 subscribers. So there's still names out there, guys. There's still names out there. I know we all had this multi-week long wet dream that the Lions were going to get Mad Max Crosby. It's a fun thought exercise. Okay. But once you stopped navel gazing for more than, I don't know, a cunt hair of a second, you'd come to realize that the dollars weren't there. Not only were the dollars not there, even if the dollars were there, there wasn't enough dollars there for Brad Holmes to make that move. Okay. There is still plenty of defensive end talent on the free agent market if that's the route we are electing to go. Day one of free agency, what did we do? We addressed the center position, and we addressed the tackle position. The two positions that we said those need to be fixed immediately. The center position was a top priority. Top priority. And we got our guy. We got our guy. All right. Cade Mays was the guy. This is now, I called the Jack Campbell ascension to All-Pro, and I called the Lions signing Cade Mays. All right. Now, we are batting pretty good here. So Trey Hendrickson is still available. All right. He would be the definition of a home run acquisition for the Lions. Significantly aid Detroit's pass rushing woes and provide Dan Campbell's squad with a perfect running mate for Pro Bowl edge Aiden Hutchinson. When healthy, Hendrickson is an ultra-productive edge defender with the ability to wreak havoc against opposing quarterbacks on a weekly basis. He ranked in the top 6 in PFF's pass rush win rate and compiled 17.5 sacks in both 23 and 24. Plus, he was ranked 7th in the same PFF stat through the first 6 weeks of 25 before injuries prematurely ended his season, which is unfortunate, but can kind of financially benefit the Detroit Lions if we want to sign him. Nonetheless, Hendrickson would be the type of difference-making piece that elevates Calvin Shepard's defense to the next level. If Brad Holmes really wants to earn some brownie points from the Detroit Lions fan base and upgrade their roster at the same time, he'd ink the Bengals pass rusher to a contract. And yes, that's very much who I would like us to sign, is Trey Hendrickson. I do think that would be a solid, by all accounts, splashy for Detroit, and a home run signing is Trey Hendrickson. Yes, he is not the youngest and springest of chicken in the coop, but he is a all-pro defensive MVP caliber player that when paired with Aiden Hutchinson, we are pushing 40 sacks between those two guys before you start sending Jack Campbell on blitzes, before Tyleek Williams and Aleem McNeil get into the mix, right? Before your first or second round defensive end who comes in as a complementary piece to spell those two guys, or if you want to go fast package. Trey Hendrickson he's also a little bit bigger of a body, a little bit more stouter in the end, and kind of hits that bookend defensive end build that the Lions are after. Tariq Woolen is also a free agent. He's one of the most intriguing defensive backs available. He's been highly productive in his first 4 seasons in the league, permitting a passer rating of just 70.6 when targeted while recording 12 picks and 53 passes defended. His combination of 6'4", 210-pound size and ball skills makes him one of the more talented cover corners on the market. The soon-to-be 27-year-old would certainly be an upgrade over the embattled Terrion Arnold, and he'd be more than welcome addition to Detroit's cornerback room. I don't know if his psych profile matches what Brad Holmes is after. Kevin Byard, safety. This is a move that I think would be a very viable option for the defense, the Detroit Lions to do to solidify that secondary question mark in the defense. Not only is he a starting caliber player, but when you put him in the mix of our safety rotation, Kevin Byard, interception machine, kind of will make up some of the deficiencies that might come around if the injury management to Kirby Joseph's knee isn't quite where we want it to be and he ends up missing some kind of time. A guy like Kevin Byard really answers that call. On top of that, you do that Brad Holmes thing, poaching away divisional opponents. Byard is another intriguing option for the Lions if they want to expand or add experience to the back end of their defense. Despite approaching his mid-30s, Byard continues to perform at an elite level. In 2025, he led the NFL with 7 interceptions and earned first-team All-Pro honors for the 3rd time in his career. Additionally, since entering the league in 2016, he accumulated 36 interceptions and has built a reputation as one of the smartest and most instinctive safeties in football. The playmaking safety would be a major addition to the Lions' secondary. Rasheed Walker, we've talked about Rasheed Walker. I'm not high on Rasheed Walker. We've talked about Braden Smith, not high on Braden Smith either. So, but I at this point, when you look at who we have in-house, okay, when you look at the futures contract of Seth McLaughlin, when you look at the acquisition of Juice Scruggs, when you look at the addition of Larry Borum, knowing that Miles Frazier can play guard or tackle, I really do think that we are staring down the barrel of Miles Frazier being the possible route. I'd say right now it'd be like a plus 200 if I was a betting man. That Miles Frazier, or I mean a minus 200, right? That Miles Frazier is going to be your starting right tackle under the tutelage of Larry Borum. Just saying. It's that sneaky shit that Brad Holmes does where he gets these guys at the back end of the draft with the developmental of they're going to sit for a year or two. I know sometimes it doesn't work out, but sometimes it does. Christian Mahogany, I think, was one of the proven pieces to that. Yes, last year wasn't so great. He had a significant leg injury, though. Playing alongside a dirtbag and Graham Glasgow ain't going to be any beneficial for anybody, right? I do think we are trending in the right direction with the moves we've made for our offensive line, though, guys. I really do. How do we feel, Mad Hatter Nation? If y'all had Max opposite Hutch, what would teams even do? Yeah, dude, even Trey. That's exactly it, Mr. Figs. Mr. Figs, bro. That, Max Crosby is a terrifying thought, right? I think people are grossly undervaluing how talented Trey Hendrickson is. You know what I'm saying? Wondering about Hendrickson. His price might be dropping fast. Yes, Rick, that's what I was thinking, dude. What? No, Tyrone. I think there's a reason why CJGJ was released. And I don't think CJGJ is going to be welcome back in the 3-1-3. I think he is too much of a distraction. I think CJGJ was a player that you did in the SOL era, okay? A player that you're willing to pay for the talent level and disregard all of the locker room antics, social media bullshit, all that nonsense because you had to pay to win. We don't have to pay to win anymore. Look, we went it and got arguably one of, if not when it really breaks down to it, by the dollars and age, the best center in the free agent class who took less money to come to Detroit than he could have gotten for our divisional opponent in the Chicago Bears under Small PB Benedict Arnold, Osama Ben Johnson, and Giggle Willie. Right? Players, we don't need to do that shit anymore. We don't need to pay for dirtbag players. We don't need to pay for high talent players with a lot of upside but a big question mark. We don't need to do that shit anymore. We haven't needed to do that shit in 2-3 years now. You know what I'm saying? So I've never been wild about CJGJ outside of his talent level, but now we are no longer a team that necessitates that type of acquisition. Does that make sense? Damn, we hit the 11 o'clock hour already. Shout out, yos. I think we moved along pretty well, guys. It was a pretty good show. I don't think we got too out in the weeds, did we? We were able to hit every story that we had lined up for us. Shout out all you guys over on Rumble, all you folks kicking it over on Kick, and especially all you guys in Mad Hatter Nation over there on YouTube. I do appreciate it. My guy Beantown dropping the super chat earlier today. I do appreciate that, brother. That's hella dope, dude. That's hella dope, guys. So, look, that's going to be it for today. We've hit the 11 o'clock hour. We made it, guys. We made it. Day 2 of free agency. And a little bit here, probably post-noon, there will be more news breaking, more information, and more things for us to cover and discuss. Do I think the Lions are going to be very active today? Honestly, I have no idea. I have no idea what we could do. I would like to see us go after. I'm very much wishing and hoping that the Lions sign Trey Hendrickson. Okay. If that doesn't happen, then maybe we go get a speed rusher and the plan is to draft Keldrick Folk at 17. Something along those lines. I have no idea, but I would love it if Trey Hendrickson was announced to be signed with the Detroit Lions today, dude. That would be it would be a very good day for the Hitler beard. It would be a greater start to the NFL the League Euro. Hitler beard show met the nation. Make sure that you are smashing the like button. Share this video around with all of your friends. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on the notification bell so that you can be notified every single time we go live, Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. right here at YouTube and the Rumble and Kickit.com. I've been Hat and Beard. You've been Attentive Audience. Until next time, bonga bonga, frig off.